Todd Chrisley gets booted from his prison job. Chrisley knows best alum Todd Chrisley works in Pensacola FCI, but he just lost his rather sweet position and was booted as an assistant to a chaplain. Apparently, he also taught some financial classes as part of the Rehabilitation First Step Act. But that might have been temporary. Read on to find out more about the job loss. Todd Chrisley news slowed down. It's been a while since USA Network fans heard much about Savannah Chrisley's dad. That's because Julie Chrisley got her sentence vacated, and she appeared in court for resentencing. Todd was thrilled to hear the news about their appeal, but she's back in prison and serving out her original 7 years. With Julie Chrisley back in her Kentucky prison now, the focus has shifted back to her husband, Todd Chrisley. He's still serving his sentence for tax and fraud-related offenses. Ahead of starting his prison term, he hoped to reach people for Jesus, and he landed a job in the chapel. But at one stage, rumors arrived that the USA Network alum had been denied attending church. Anyway, his job in the chapel is over now. Chrisley knows best alum fired from chapel. The news that the Chrisley knows best alum lost his chapel job came via a statement. It was attorney Jay Sargent who told TMZ about the dismissal. The outlet cited the Legal Eagle as saying that, allegedly, the prison authorities didn't like him chatting with those people in the program who attend the prison on a part-time basis. Notably, the USA Network alum will be still able to go to services in the chapel. A discussion on Todd's punishment. While not much else is known about the booting of the former Chrisley knows best star, fans of the show discussed it on Reddit. There, they threw out their ideas and opinions. Here are some of those speculations. Oh wow! So he was likely getting messages out to people, through the part-time inmates. All through the cover of religion. What a coincidence the two offices were close together. He's a sly old fox, and apparently the prison knows it. RDAP is the Residential Drug Abuse Program. They have all sorts of rules. It's very strict. Y'all, the way I laughed at this. I wish they would put him in solitary confinement. The fluorescent lights of the Federal Correctional Institution flickered above Todd Chrisley as he walked down the stark, gray corridor, the echo of his footsteps resonating off the concrete walls. This wasn't the glamorous life he was used to, filled with designer suits and lavish parties. It was a stark contrast to his former reality. Instead of navigating the high-stakes world of real estate and reality television, Todd now found himself in an environment where every move was monitored, and every moment felt like a test of his resolve. He had been assigned to the prison's kitchen, a job that surprisingly suited him. Cooking had always been a passion of his, one that he had pursued half-heartedly in the world outside. Now, with limited resources and a modest menu, he relished the opportunity to whip up meals for his fellow inmates. He found a sense of purpose in it, laughing as he chopped vegetables and shared stories about his family, the life he had left behind, and his dreams for the future. But as the saying goes, prison life isn't quite what it seems. It wasn't long before Todd's charm and personality began to attract attention. Inmates who had once eyed him with suspicion now gathered around him during meal prep, captivated by his anecdotes of Hollywood and the high life. They would lean in, eager to hear about his extravagant lifestyle, the glitz and glam of the Chrisley family, and how it all came crashing down. Despite the supportive camaraderie, Todd was warned to keep a low profile. Some of the guards viewed his rise to popularity with suspicion, fearing he might be seen as a leader among the inmates. "Don't forget where you are, Chrisley," one guard barked one afternoon, eyeing him as he blended spices for a special stew. "You're not on some reality show. This is prison. Stay humble." But Todd couldn't help it. He thrived on attention, on being in the spotlight. Each laugh, each shared recipe only fueled his desire to connect. He started hosting informal cooking classes in the kitchen, teaching fellow inmates how to prepare comfort food with the limited supplies they had. He transformed mundane ingredients into hearty meals, creating a sense of community among those who felt forgotten and abandoned. However, not everyone appreciated his charisma. A group of inmates, led by a tough, no-nonsense man named Rick, saw Todd's popularity as a threat. "Who does he think he is?" Rick scoffed during a mealtime gathering. "We're here for a reason. He doesn't belong with us. He's just some rich guy who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar." Rick and his crew began to plot against Todd, determined to bring him down a notch. They spread rumors, whispering among themselves about how he had fooled the guards and other inmates into thinking he was something he wasn't. "He's just here to play the part," Rick sneered, stirring discontent among the other inmates. It wasn't long before Todd's fate was sealed. One afternoon, while serving lunch, he noticed a gathering of guards at the entrance of the kitchen. Their expressions were grim, and the air felt thick with tension. Todd's heart raced as he wiped his hands on his apron, bracing himself for what was to come. He could sense something was off, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Chrisley, one of the guards, called, stepping forward. The room fell silent. "You're being reassigned." Confusion spread through the kitchen like wildfire. Todd's mind raced as he wondered what he had done wrong. Had Rick's crew concocted a story? Had they turned the guards against him? "What did I do?" Todd asked, his voice shaky, but trying to maintain composure. "You're being removed from your position in the kitchen," the guard replied flatly. "We've received reports of inappropriate behavior and fraternization. You're not supposed to be teaching classes or gathering large groups. It creates a disturbance. We have protocols in place for a reason." Todd felt the blood drain from his face. The reality of his situation crashed down on him. He had simply been trying to lift spirits, to bring a little joy to a grim place. And yet, here he was, facing the consequences of his efforts to connect. "But I was just trying to help. We were all having fun." "That's enough, Chrisley," the guard snapped. "You've crossed a line, and now you'll be reassigned to the laundry. You'll work alone. No more teaching, no more cooking for the others." Defeated, Todd nodded, trying to hide his disappointment as he was led away from the kitchen. He had gone from the vibrant atmosphere of camaraderie back to a solitary existence, stripped of the connection he had forged. The laundry room was dim and unwelcoming, filled with the sounds of machines whirring, and the smell of detergent overpowering any remnants of hope he had left. As he folded garments day in and day out, he reflected on his choices. Was it worth it to be himself, to embrace his personality in a place designed to strip away individuality? The days turned into weeks, and while the laundry work was tedious, it provided him time to think. He realized that despite being stripped of his kitchen role, the connections he had made during his brief stint were profound and meaningful. One day, as he sorted through a pile of clothes, he overheard a group of inmates talking nearby. They were discussing Todd's cooking, reminiscing about the flavors and the joy it had brought them during those mealtime gatherings. It sparked a flicker of hope in Todd's heart. Perhaps, even from the laundry room, he could still influence lives in small ways. In the following weeks, Todd began to take initiative. He used the limited time he had with the other inmates to share cooking tips and stories. Whenever he had a spare moment, he'd rally the men, guiding them through simple recipes with what little supplies they had access to. His voice became a beacon of encouragement, reminding them of their worth and potential beyond their current circumstances. Word spread throughout the facility about Todd's efforts, and even some of the guards began to take notice. They saw that he was trying to uplift the spirits of his fellow inmates, and soon the atmosphere in the laundry room shifted from one of isolation to a sense of community even if it was just among a few.